All right. Hey, are you ready to go? Ready for another art lesson? Of course you are, Miss Karsha. Of course we are. All right, so get your sketchbook. You're going to need a pencil. What are we doing today? What are we doing today? And basket full of apples. All right, so we're going to do a still life today. A still life is a drawing, a photograph, a painting that is made up of things that don't move. Like this basket of apples. I can walk away from this basket of apples. When I come back, it looks the same unless one of you takes one and takes a bite out of it, right? It's going to look the same no matter what. So today what we're going to do is draw a basket of apples. Now we already drew one apple. We're just going to draw a bunch more. Do we see the bottom of the apples? No. Why not? Where are they? They're in a little basket, right? Okay, so that's going to be easier to draw because we don't have to draw the bottoms. We're just going to draw the tops. And look what kind of lines we're using. They're going to curve, and they're going to build from the bottom up. Do not see the bottom of the apples. And then the basket. So we're going to start with our basket first. We're going to make our little rectangle. Then we're going to come down and do that part. And then we're going to add in our apples. Okay? All right, pencils, ready? All right, let's go. Okay, so where is the top of your basket going to be? Don't put it way up here because you won't have any room for your apples. Don't put it way down here because you won't have any room for the bottom of your basket. So we're going to need a rectangle a little bit below the center, right? The center is going to be so it's the same above and below, but we want to go a little bit below that. So give yourself a little bit of space between the edges. Don't draw it all the way to the edge. Draw a horizontal line. And then leave a couple finger space here and draw another horizontal line about the same thickness all the way across. Try and make it straight as you can. Connect it up to make your rectangle, right? Now we're going to draw two diagonal lines. They're going to come in a little bit to make our basket, but they're not going to come in too much. So how far down is your basket going to go? We're not going to put it all the way at the bottom. Leave like 2 fingers. Make a little dot. Doink. This is about as far down as my basket's going to go. Put a little line down there. That's the bottom of your basket. Now I'm going to connect it from here to there. Don't put it right over here on the edge. Bring it in a little bit. You can even mark it and go doink. 1 finger here. Down to the bottom. You can mark it here. Doink. 1 finger down to the bottom. There you go. That's perfect. Looks good. All right, now let's make some apples. I'm going to start with one apple that's going to be closest to me, and I'm just going to put a big circle on there, but I'm not going to draw it all the way. Why don't I draw it all the way? Because it's inside the basket, right? You don't see the bottom of it. Now I'm going to do another one. It's going to start on the circle. It's going to end on the basket. Around and down. It's not a perfect circle, but that's okay. Remember, they're not supposed to be circles. They're supposed to be apples. I'm going to do another one. Remember, it's got to come inside the basket, so don't draw it way out here. I'm going to draw it so it goes from this apple down to the bottom of the basket. Right there. Perfect. That looks pretty good. Got 3 apples. Let's put 2 more in. I'm going to start one that goes from here. It's going to come up and around and touch this one. I'm not touching that one. I'm going to start here, come up and around. That's a big apple, isn't it? And then let's do another one. So it starts here and comes around and touches this apple. Bring it up and around. Look how big my apples are. See how I can fit my whole hand in that one? Look how big those are. Don't make teeny tiny little apples. They're not cherries, they're apples. All right, so let's come down here and put a table. Let's make a table, and that's just a straight line, right? Horizontal line down here for the end of our table. Make sure it matches as close as you can back there. All right. So let's put in some details now. Let's make the stem. So we're going to put a curved line in like a backward C, and then I'm going to draw a rectangle, skinny rectangle, kind of curvy, and then I'm going to put my little top on it. That's my stem. Can I do it again down here? Sure can. Do another one. Make them come outside of the apple. Don't make them all flat. I mean, don't make them all tiny. Make them all kind of big. And maybe this apple leans this way instead. And here's my apple. There's my stem. This one might be up here. This is showing me that my apple is round and my stem is coming out of the apple, right? Last one over here. Very good. Now, if yours look like they're too round like mine, come across the top here and flatten it out a little bit. You're going to need to erase. I don't want my apples to be totally circular roundy. Ooh. I want them to be a little bit more flat across here, or dip in even. Let me make sure that one, see that one, that's too flat. I gotta fix that part. It needs to come out a little bit on the sides. There, oh, that's better. That's a better apple right there. That's it. Always remember to fix it before you erase. That way you don't make the same mistake over and over and over again. This apple looks pretty good. It's not totally round. This one's kind of loopity, kind of right there. Let's see who is on the phone for us. So take your line and bring it down a little bit and up again. So it's not round like that. There, perfect. Hey, that one looks pretty good right there. All right, let's add some details into the basket. I'm gonna make it look like it's kind of woven. I'm gonna go across here, horizontal down here. Don't line it up with your table back there. Skip down a little bit and add another row. I could add another row down here at the bottom. Just figure out what you're gonna do to your basket, right? I can make it lines this way, coming down. What? Now it looks like somebody wove my basket. It's woven. That looks pretty cool. I like that design. Looks kind of like a wall or something, doesn't it? That's pretty neat. I like that right there. I'm gonna leave that right like that. All right, now you can add designs in your tablecloth if you want to. If you would like to add a worm into yours, go ahead. Remember how we do the circle and then we did the S? Woo! You could add a worm into yours. You don't have to, but if you would like to, go right ahead. Right? We've already learned how to do that part. Make sure he has a big smile. So that's all we have to do on this one. Take your Sharpie. Wait a minute before you can take a Sharpie. Take a piece of scrap paper, put it underneath your page. So if the Sharpie soaks through, it doesn't ruin anything. And then take your marker and start tracing your lines. Now we're going to use crayons today, and we're going to talk about mixing different colors together to make some new ones. So pause the video and get your tracing done with your Sharpies, and then hit the play button. I'll have mine done, and we'll talk about adding color. Okie doke? No more interruptions, no more phone calls. Okay, so do you have everything erased? Did you add anything extra like a worm? Did you add a leaf? You didn't have to add a leaf, but could you? Sure, like a football shape, maybe some lines going out like this. That's pretty cool too, isn't it? Sometimes when you buy an apple or pick the apple, the leaf is stuck to the stem, right? Okay, so I want you to think about what colors you're going to use on your apples. Don't make them purple. There are no purple apples. Are there green apples? Yes, like a yellow-green. Are there red apples? Sure. Are there apples that are yellow? Yeah, a little bit, right? So you can use those colors to color your apples, but stay out of colors that don't belong. If it's not, if it's not a red apple, if it's not a green apple, maybe we could add some yellow in there too. Don't make blue apples. If you want to use blue, use that on your basket down here. So let's do some different colors. Sometimes as the apples are getting riper, they're going to go from green to red. And on the way, sometimes we've got a little bit of yellow in there. So I can take some yellow and color on here. I'm going to color round. See how my hand is turning like this? My fingers are moving round like my apple. Okay. Now I might even take some of that green and stick some green in there too, because sometimes the apple is going to be green. It's not ripe. But before it turns red, it's going to maybe turn a little yellow. Or sometimes if it's a green apple like this, it'll have a little yellow in it. So I'm going to make this a green apple. And see how I'm kind of coloring right up onto that yellow? And it's making a little bit of a new color. And where it dips in around the stem, I'm going to push hard. That'll make it look like maybe there's a little shadow in there. I can do that down here around the bucket. The bucket, that's not a bucket, that's a basket. Well, thank you for reminding me. Okay, now I can do the same thing using maybe a little bit for the red. So if I come through here again, look at how I'm curving my coloring lines. They're not going straight up and down. They're curving like the apple. And now watch when I do the red one. This is kind of cool too. I can color in here red and go fill in all those spaces. And where it bumps in, see, it's making a new color. That's pretty cool, isn't it? It's going to make some new colors in there. So you don't have to use just one color. And then remember, press harder in here around the stem. Makes it look like there's a shadow. And I can add a little bit darker down here. Make it look more round. Now, not all of them have to be colored that way. If you just want to make a red apple, you can. But color lightly like this in between, not super light, but don't press super hard. And then come in here, press harder in here. See how it looks like it's got a shadow on it. And then down here where the light isn't touching the apple to make it look like it's rounder. What do you think? Looks pretty good? Okay. So don't forget to color everything in. Background, color your table. Depends on you what kind of table you have. Maybe it's a picnic table and you've got other kinds of wooden lines that go across here and maybe they're like, wood grain. Woo! That go across. You could do that too, couldn't you? Sure you could. Why not? It's your table. Make it the way you want to make it. So, more than one color. Mix them up a little bit. Don't forget to color your basket. Don't forget to color around. And your little worm guy. You could make him blue if you wanted to. That's all right. Don't forget to put today's date on the bottom so you know when you did it. And what do you think? Basket's looking good? I think they're going to look awesome. All right, my friends. I love you. Have a good week. See you next week. Bye.